Hello and welcome to Oddspedia Premier League. Let's analyze all the remaining games, the final day, of course, this weekend, but also the three games we have on Thursday with our hero, our amazing Tom Rennie from East London. How are you, Tom?
Yes, I feel like if I'm a hero, then Marvel really have run out of ideas.
No, you always have a lot of ideas, Tom. Let's try to make some money. Let's make some money, guys. Thanks for already commenting the show with us. Tell us your tips. Tell us if you are a believer of Liverpool winning the Premier League, if Gerrard is going to help Liverpool to win the Premier League. Let us know in the comment section. And of course, don't forget, press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. Tom, let's start with the drama we have tonight. Of course, on Thursday we have three games and we have Everton, Crystal Palace. I guess after that defeat against Brentford, a bit unexpected, playing with 9 men. Yep. There are a lot of nerves in Goodison Park. They are facing Arsenal in the final day. The odds are with Everton, we have to say, for this game, as we can see, and also for them to stay in the Premier League. It has to be disastrous for them to go down, but who knows? Do you think they will get the points against Crystal Palace and be almost safe in the final day?
I don't know is the answer. I don't know. If they win this, they would go to 39 points. That would be Premier League safety. So they couldn't be caught by Leeds United if they win. So win and they're up. That's the simple equation for Leeds United and for Everton and for Burnley at this moment in time. Everton are out of the mix if they get the 3 points. The trouble is, that was the story against Brentford at the weekend as well. And they capitulated embarrassingly in a way. What we've seen in this relegation race this year, which you do see to a point most years, but a lot this year, is a failure to control the emotions. We've seen it a lot with Everton. We've seen it a lot with Leeds United. And we saw it with Burnley when they played Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago. So it's another example here of, Goodison Park is an incredible atmosphere. They're an incredible fan base, and they've created these almost like Turkish football style atmospheres of teams going into Goodison last couple of weeks. Look at some of the photos of pre-Brentford, pre-Man United. But that didn't work against Brentford because Brentford kind of just brushed it all off. Brentford, this squad, have had big games. To get in the Premier League, it doesn't get a great deal bigger than that for a team like Brentford. Many of them were around in the playoffs last year and the season before. And so they navigated that game very, very well. There was some luck and some bad officiating and all that sort of stuff, but they navigated it well. So Everton, I've got to put a lid on it. They've got to put a lid on it and try and play football. The trouble is that's not how Frank Lampard's got about it. He's got about it with personality and character, which is great, and I would absolutely agree with what he's done. But they also then need to add professionalism on top of it. So you still have Anthony Gordon. You still have the attitude of Jordan Pickford. You still have, if Yerry Mina's fit, which will be a nice change of pace. You have him leading the defence and shouting at everybody. You have Seamus Coleman in the team, even though he scored an own goal against Brentford. I think he's the kind of person that's undroppable for this game. So I think from an Everton perspective, they will be very, very nervous here. And Crystal Palace are not good opponents in this scenario. They went to Aston Villa a couple of days ago. Nothing gained, but proved they can score goals and win away from home against Southampton. They won there by 2-1. So it's 4 points from 2 games. Away from home, they've turned it around recently. First half of the season, not so great, but second half, they've been able to, with a bit of comfort in their league position, cause a few problems. So look, there's not many scenarios here where I see a high-scoring game because usually these nervy encounters are quite a tough watch. They're quite, one team tries to bludgeon the other until we eventually get a winner. I can see both teams scoring here. I can see Crystal Palace scoring the first goal and scoring the first goal early in this game. Everton come on strong and get a leveller, but that's about it. Draw market at 375 is very, very nice. Draw market, Crystal Palace score the first goal. That's where I'm going tonight. And draw market and Everton score their goal in the final 10 minutes of this match is the market I'm looking at. That puts Everton to 37, and that would probably be enough, judging by the other fixtures that the other teams have got, but it would not be safe.
We have Igor telling us that he agrees kind of with Amir Hossein going for under 2.5 goals, odds 1.8 if there is a KG one as you expect also, Tom. And well, Igor is going for double chance for Palace, Cavalesh for Everton to win. Let's see if Everton are able to handle the pressure, because as you mentioned also, Crystal Palace, they are ending the season very professional and getting points against Watford or Southampton, for instance, recently. And talking about relegation, also a massive game is the next one, Aston Villa. Burnley, they need the points to at least arrive to the final day with Leeds in the bottom three, so they will depend on themselves. But they lost to Tottenham. They lost very recently, of course, to Aston Villa. We saw this game only 10 days ago. Do you think it's going to be something different that what we saw only 10 days ago, or we should go again for Aston Villa to win?
I'd go with a very similar score to the one at Turf Moor a couple of weeks ago. 3-1 that finished to Aston Villa. And I mean, let's start with Burnley here, because Burnley had a lovely new manager bounce when Mike Jackson came in. They won some really crucial games against Southampton, against Watford, and against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The biggest surprise of the lot, really. But they were three teams in poor form. That was not the case when they took on Tottenham at the weekend, and Aston Villa probably put in their best performance of the last couple of months when they were able to go to Turf Moor and win. So it's a tricky one, this. Look, for Villa, the season was sort of petering out, and I think Steven Gerrard has kicked the whole lot of the players up the backside and said to him, if you want to be here next season, show me something in this last 6 games. If you don't, you are going to be leaving. So I'd expect this summer to be a summer of massive departures at Aston Villa. Getting rid of Dean Smith's old squad, people like Leon Bailey, useless signing, Bertrand Traore, waste of time, and players like that. I'd expect them to be gone. Coutinho's already come in, mainly because nobody else wanted him, but also because Steven Gerrard thinks he can make a play again of Coutinho. So Villa look like they're playing, which is the right thing for next season. They are playing right now to get a contract, basically, at Aston Villa. Beat Burnley, played well against Liverpool, probably should have beaten Crystal Palace a few days ago. So a very dangerous opponent. And look out for Ollie Watkins here as well. Him and Ings, both brilliant at Turf Moor. And pace in behind is the absolute worst thing that you can have from a Burnley perspective in this game. For Burnley, yeah, I think this could be it. I think this could be it for Burnley. You know, the injury list at the end of the season has been awful. Ben Mee still missing for this one. They're trying to get him back for the last day, but we don't think so. Jay Rodriguez might be missing. Tarkowski might be missing. Westwood is out, who's been a very good player for a few years. Vidra is out, who often comes off the bench and has an impact in games like this. I mean, it's massive. So 3-1 at Turf Moor. I've been looking for that score to be replicated here. Both teams score, but Villa will score multiple goals in this game. I think Tottenham at the weekend put in about a 20% performance to beat Burnley, and that's why Burnley got back in the game. I think Villa won't do that. I think Villa will actually put Burnley to the sword here. And I'd be looking at the market where Ollie Watkins scores and Aston Villa score. You can get that around about 30-1 if you pick the first goal score. So you go Watkins to score first and Villa to win. That's around 30s. That's what I'm going for.
Lyle is asking you if perhaps Gerrard will rest some players ahead of that game against Man City.
I don't think Steven Gerrard cares about the title race at all. Honestly, I believe him completely when he says, we're not in the title race, so why do I care? This is a big game for Aston Villa Football Club. That is who he manages at this moment in time, and he will play his strongest 11 to thrash Burnley on Thursday night.
All right, so I can see Tom a bit pessimistic with Burnley not doing the Burnley thing and getting the points out of nowhere and getting safe. Next game, also on Thursday, much more chill. Chelsea, Leicester City. Chelsea still, they have to finish third in this very difficult season for them. No titles out of the, as we know, they lost the FA Cup in penalties. Leicester in better form recently. Vardy scoring again. 14 goals for Vardy is not bad for being injured most of the season. Perhaps we see a good game, this one with goals finally.
I don't know about a good game with goals. I think this has got it just reeks of end of season. The only thing I would suggest here is 9-1 for Leicester is mad. Like, that is a mad odd for this particular game because Chelsea aren't playing well. Chelsea had that incredible disappointment at the FA Cup final last week where they actually were massively in the game and didn't really deserve to lose. You know, penalties are what they are. But if they'd have won it, you would have gone, yeah, okay, fair enough. They played well. They're worthy winners. So massive disappointment. Third is the only thing they have achieved this season. But still, Thomas Tuchel doesn't seem to know his team. Still, there are so many injuries at the back for Chelsea. Do we know about Christensen? Is he going to play? Is Thiago going to be fit? Is it going to be Malang Sarr and Trevor Chalobah in the back three? I mean, that's not good enough for Burnley, let alone for Chelsea. So I would be looking here. Firstly, I'd avoid it. But if I'm betting on it, go Leicester win at 9-1. Beautiful. Beautiful. Leicester win and Jamie Vardy scores. I mean, that just feels like the biggest banker of the entire midweek round.
Massive odds, but nothing to play for. Remember, in this Chelsea, Leicester, then let's go back to the drama on Sunday. Every single game is going to be played at the same time, and we are starting in London. Arsenal, Everton. Arsenal doing the Arsenal thing and throwing away the top 4 spot. They have to win this one and hope Norwich will get points against Tottenham. This is to hope a lot, to be honest. But who knows? And we have to wait, no? I guess also to place our bets and see if Everton are absolutely safe for this game. So if they are safe, for sure, Arsenal to win, the price will go down and down. What can we expect in this Arsenal-Everton? I guess Arsenal to win, especially if Everton are safe, no?
I mean, I'd like to give you some drama here, but Tottenham are facing Norwich. So, you know, there's no great drama here. And I don't think anyone at Arsenal is expecting to qualify for the Champions League. The good thing about that for Arsenal is that might give them a freedom to play in this game against a poor Everton and rack up a big home win to round off this season. And when they look back on it, Arsenal fans, I think they will look at it as a stepping stone to something better. They did a lot of things moving in the right direction this season. Didn't achieve anything in particular on paper, but if you watch them this season, they improved for a lot of the season before the Newcastle game. And there's things at Arsenal, I think, that are going in the right direction. We know about the injury issues defensively. Hopefully, Gabriel and White will be fit. Still no Tierney. I think he needs to be replaced. He's always injured. Tomiyasu came back in. He'll probably be missing for this as well. So both fullbacks missing. I mean, Cedric's got to play. I mean, he's been dreadful whenever he's played for Arsenal this season. So there's issues there for the Gunners. But going forward, you know, a goodbye performance from Eddie Nketiah before he leaves. That's the right thing to do. A chance for Bukayo Saka and Smith Rowe and Ødegaard to prove what good players they are. And we've spoken about Everton already, but they're a poor defence. They're a poor team. I think they will have got a point that nearly got them safe, but I don't think there's any chance they go to Arsenal and win. So I would be looking here for a big Arsenal win, actually. The odds reflect that at 1.5. I'd be looking for Arsenal win. But I actually think that we might be level for a while, but when the first goal goes in, Everton could be in trouble. So Arsenal and Everton goalless at the break. By the second half, the end of the second half, Arsenal have won by 2 clear goals. So you can look at that as a -2 handicap. You can look at that as plus 1.5 goals in the game. But level at halftime, Arsenal win by the end by 2.
Arsenal Asian handicap -1.5, for instance. Odds are around 2.5, 2.6. So that's a decent price for this game. Amir Hossein is telling us that this is going to be a draw. Well, a draw is not enough for sure for Arsenal to qualify for the top 4. And continuing with the drama, we have Brentford Leeds. I know you are a big fan of Jesse March, Tom. But Leeds, they can arrive to this final day. Let's see, no? If in the bottom 3, for sure, they need the points. They need to win this game if they don't want to wait for Burnley to lose all their games. And it's going to be very tough because, as we know, Brentford, they've been doing an amazing season. We have to take our hats off, and especially at home.
Yeah, 13 Premier League wins. Very impressive for a first season in the Premier League when you consider as well that they had no players from December through February. So a very impressive season. Not the best and prettiest football team, but the work ethic and the clear tactics have produced results in a league where, frankly, work ethic and good tactics are a bit thin on the ground when you get below Brentford in the table. The bottom half have certainly struggled for identity this season. A lot of teams have. So they're a good team. That the players you'd want fit from a Brentford perspective are fit. Apart from Pinnock, maybe, I think everyone from the best possible first team will be available. And they're picking up great results right now as well, including doing Leeds a big favour, winning at Goodison a couple of days ago. So, look, they are rightly favourites for this game. And Leeds, I've watched a few Leeds games recently. I worked on a couple as well. And I have no idea what Jesse Marsch is doing. I just don't know now, because the formation seems to be changing wildly. Rafinha's playing at right wing back, which makes no sense at all. Look, I know he's got injury issues and doesn't know the squad. They're not his players, all of that. So it's a very tough ask on Jesse Marsch to deliver something that I don't think was going to be delivered before the previous manager went. The goal against Brighton might do it. The equaliser against Brighton last week might do it. But in this particular game, I just can't see a scenario where Leeds win. I just can't see it. The only thing I'd look at here in terms of a bet is how many times Leeds have scored after the 90th minute. I think they're the second highest scorers after the 90th minute in the Premier League this season. Did it again last week against Brighton. So I would be looking here for Leeds to score after 90 and the game to be a draw. So they get another point, which is going to be incredibly dramatic. They will go all-out attack after Brentford score early in this game, but they will get it after 90. And I'd be looking here for Joe Gelhardt to have an impact. He's the one who had that brilliant assist last week. If you can look for an assist or goal from Joe Gelhardt, Leeds draw, and they score late, that's what I'm looking at here.
Draw is 4.1. Is massive drama if Leeds go down, no, after suffering so many years in the Championship and only a couple of years later going back to the Championship. Next game is Brighton. West Ham. Here we have West Ham trying to get another Europa League ticket. They still can make it, can be six, and they are performing really well after having some rest, something that they didn't have in the whole season. Draw against City, beat Norwich comfortably, but this is tough as well, Tom? If we see the odds, even the bookies expect a draw, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it screams draw, this game. It absolutely screams draw between Brighton and West Ham United. Brighton have been playing very well recently, some excellent performances. I think the pressure of the season kind of winding down helped them a little bit. I think that winning some games against some pretty poor, switched-off opposition by big score lines has helped as well. So the win against Manchester United, for example, an incredible victory. The win over Wolves, which I thought was even more impressive by 3-0 at Molineux, how well they played despite defeat against Manchester City. But last week against Leeds, it did feel a bit like they'd done their bit. They'd done their bit by the time they got to Ellen Road. Danny Welbeck looked threatening, maybe could have scored Brighton second to win the game. Look, I like everything that Brighton have done this season. I think a lot of people do. And I think that 11 wins, 15 draws is a respectable end to the season for them. If they could have turned some of those draws into wins like they should have done so many times. Like every time they were losing, they went all-out attack. But when the win was a possibility, they played for the draw. It didn't make a great deal of sense, but it has got them to 10th in the table. Their highest ever Premier League finish is going to be secured. And they're taking a West Ham team here who have not beaten Brighton in the Premier League. The last time West Ham beat Brighton was 2012. That was in the Championship. Ricardo Vaz-Tay scored a hat-trick on West Ham's way to winning the playoff final that year against Blackpool. But I was very impressed by West Ham last week. I genuinely believe they want to finish above Manchester United and finish sixth. I think West Ham are happy with the Conference League. I think they're delighted to be back in Europe. There's only about, in West Ham's history, 100-odd years, 120-odd years, they've actually only been in the top 7 of the top flight like 10 times. So it's not like they do this a lot. And David Moyes was like twice in a row and got them into Europe twice in a row. So it's a big achievement for West Ham, a club that are going in the right direction. Big summer coming up for them, keeping their best players, but also buying the players they've so desperately needed for so long. So look, there's a double chance here for West Ham and draw. I even though all the history says Brighton will win, and I kind of in my gut think Brighton will win, I think West Ham are different now. And I'm going to gamble on that. I'm going to gamble on this West Ham being different. This full strength West Ham going there to win. I think they will take it a lot more seriously than Brighton in terms of having a season ambition. And they'll be thinking, if Man United don't win and we do win, we can start our season a month later in the Europa League and not the Conference League. There's a carrot there, and I think these players want it. So I will take West Ham to win.
All right, draw for Blue Shark, draw for Lyle. Another good option is the Asian Handicap 0 for West Ham, or the draw no bet, for instance. You have odds around 2. So if they win, you win. And if they draw, you get your money back. This is a good option with West Ham playing for the Europa League ticket. Next game for relegation, Burnley. Newcastle, you mentioned before that you don't expect Burnley to beat Aston Villa at Villa Park. So the question is if Burnley is going to beat Newcastle in your opinion, because they have to get at least 3 points to get safe, and expect Leeds to lose their game. Newcastle, of course, on holidays, and we know that when they are playing away, since they are safe, they are not competing that well. This is the game of their lives for Burnley, even if they lose in Villa Park.
Yes, I mean, look, Burnley will go into the game on the final day of the season, the same as the game on Thursday. Injury concerns, how are they going to play in this game, deal with the pressure, all of that. So we'll need to wait until Burnley have played on Thursday before having a real feel for this game, what is required. As we speak, they're in the bottom 3. So as we speak, they are going to need to get at least a point. A point would get them above Leeds if Leeds have lost. If Leeds draw, they need to win. So I think they're going to have to play as if Leeds have won, which means they will need to win this game if they are where they are when we go to Sunday. The trouble is, you're right on Newcastle. I was doing this game last year where Newcastle won massively. Alan Saint-Maximin ripped them apart at Turf Moor. And I take your point completely on how poor they've been away from home compared to being at home. But I just think Newcastle feel like a club that are going places with players who are fit again, back from injury, something to play for. And I think they would very much enjoy going to Burnley and getting them relegated. I think they would enjoy the fact they aren't involved in it. And if you think about Callum Wilson, I mean, if he'd have been fit all season, I think Newcastle wouldn't have had as bad a first half of the campaign as they had. If you think about the form of Dan Burn, you think about what Saint-Maximin can do, what Almiron could do. Joe Linton just won Player of the Year for them. And I think quite rightly, I mean, he's one of the best number 6s currently playing in the league. I didn't see it coming. He didn't see it coming, but he's been fantastic. So I'm not going to back a Burnley win. I know they need it, but I'm not going to back it. I think Newcastle will go and they will win. I think Newcastle will go and win against Burnley, and I think Burnley will be relegated this season, having lost both games. That's my view on it. I don't see anything there with Burnley. I think there was a nice little burst, but how they go about it, they never go out to win. They don't go out in games to win it. They go into games to hold on for 80 minutes, then nick it in the final 10. That was the Sean Dyche tactic, and Mike Jackson hasn't really brought anything else to the table. It might get desperate. It might get nervy. Burnley might score a late corner, but I think Newcastle would have already scored a couple of goals in the game. Newcastle win. They score in both halves. And I might even be looking at the over here for the game to be over 2.5, maybe even over 3.5. I think this might be a bit of for Burnley, a weird one, but a bit of a goal fest. But Newcastle win.
We have over 2.5 goals, above 2 odds, and Newcastle to win above 3. So good odds if you are backing what Tom is backing. Burnley to go down. Tell us in the comment section which team is going down, in your opinion, Burnley, Leeds, or Everton. Tom has his choice, and it's Burnley. Next game, Chelsea-Watford, of course, with Watford already in the Championship. Oh my God, 1 point in the last 8 games. Not much to say, I guess, about this game. I won't put my money on this game with these odds for Chelsea. And with Chelsea, of course, thinking in the summer, in the who is going to acquire the team, who is going to coach the team, which players are going to be in the squad. This is the main question mark for Chelsea supporters, I guess.
Yeah, look, I won't waste anyone's time on this one, to be honest. Chelsea are going to win in all sorts of ways. Go Chelsea win and put an Asian handicap on it. How confident do you feel? Watford are diabolical. Even this average Chelsea are too good for them. Assuming Lukaku is fit, Lukaku scores, Chelsea win at least 3-0. Move on.
Okay, Leeds is going down for most of the people here. Actually, Kushal, Lyle, or Blue Shark is telling us that Burnley, there is always a lot of trust around Burnley, no, to do the Burnley thing.
No.
Next game, Crystal Palace Man United, and here if West Ham get 3 points against Brighton, Man United, they have to win if they don't want to play the conference. It won't be, well, it will be probably the deserved end of a terrible season for the Red Devils. Remember that the last game was a 4-0 at Brighton, and it's not going to be easy for Man United, I guess, to win in Selhurst Park.
Yeah, last game for United was the 7th of May, and it's going to be the 22nd by the time they play again. That must have been such a horrible fortnight for everybody involved, knowing there's a new manager, knowing Rangnick is going, knowing players are going, just a 2-week holding pattern of depression for everybody involved. Look, briefly on Crystal Palace, we mentioned them earlier, but Selhurst Park's a great atmosphere. They will desperately want to beat Manchester United, even though they played on Thursday, because it is such a big fillip still to beat Man U, even though they're quite poor. And they can cause a lot of problems to teams, Crystal Palace. So they have definitely got a great chance in this game. For Man United, we assume that the majority of players are going to be fit for this game. We've not seen them for so long. There's some doubts about the likes of Sancho and Rashford, but in general, apart from Pogba, I'd expect, and Luke Shaw, I'd expect everyone to be available from those we'd expect to be available. And that brings the question on, why do they care? Like, what? I mean, if they're in the Europa League or the Conference League, why would they care about it? I don't think a lot of these players do. I think they already feel like they've failed miserably in their ambitions this season. And they have to win this game if West Ham beat Brighton. Otherwise, West Ham will go above them. Very frustrating that Man United will finish above West Ham because of 2 shonky last-minute winners, home and away this season. Very frustrating because West Ham have been better for the whole campaign, but lost crucial games because of their Europa League run. I don't know, mate. I really don't know here. I think the only thing with Man United is bet on Ronaldo to score, right? That's the only safe bet. So Ronaldo will score. I like the draw market at 388. How I would be able to tell you what this Man United team are going to do in their final game under this manager no one's going to remember. I genuinely think all scores are possible. So bet on everything. But Ronaldo to score is the only thing that's safe.
Actually, betting against Man United is always a good idea, especially this season, because the odds are always super high. Finally, actually, the Man United victory is kind of fair, although I don't even think that they are favorites to arrive to this game. And many people here also think that Crystal Palace will win. So if you think that, you have good odds. Next game is a meaningless game, Leicester Southampton. If someone wants to place the bet, I guess it's wise to do it with Leicester, no? Playing at home with Southampton on holidays for the last 3 months and losing basically every single game, except, of course, if you face Arsenal, you beat them, you screw them up, as Southampton did. But yeah, nothing to play for in this game.
Yeah, just look at it on record, really. Leicester are the 7th best team at home in the Premier League this season. Southampton are the 4th worst team away from home this season. The logic is clear. Find ways for Leicester to win. 2-1 is not an unfair prediction from the bookies going into this one. Same as the previous game. Leicester win and Vardy score. That's what I double it up with. I actually think Southampton are so bad right now, this could be a big score as well. So I might even consider Asian handicap here by a couple of goals.
Jamie Vardy, we all love him. Jamie Vardy. Title race, Premier League. Let's analyze both games. Liverpool Wolves, I guess after the victory, with against Southampton, Liverpool won't drop points, especially because Wolves, they are so poor, only 2 points in the last 6 Premier League games. They just, I guess if we want to place bets here, Tom, it would be wise to do it, Liverpool to score and thrash even Wolves in the first half, like immediately score 2-3 and think about what is going to happen in Manchester.
Yes, I mean, that's what Liverpool do. So I'd be looking here, if Liverpool win, as you say, the goals come in the first 20 minutes. So you could pick a goal from 0 to 10, another from 10 to 20, and couple that with Liverpool winning the game, and you'd do quite well if you triple that bet up. I can see that happening. Wolves are a funny old team because they're so horrible to watch. And for a while it worked because when the season was attritional, when teams were just trying to get through games without injuries, they actually picked up lots of points. Now they're playing fully fit squads who like to play football. They're in massive, massive trouble. So I think Liverpool will win. I think Liverpool will win quite big, actually, in this game, even though I actually wouldn't expect to see Mo Salah and maybe even Virgil van Dijk and anyone that's a slight doubt for the Champions League final. I know there's still a week to go, but why would you risk them in a game like this? I don't think they believe they can win the Premier League title. I think the draw that City got against West Ham last week was enough to kind of take that off the table for us. I think the draw that City got against Liverpool, frankly, a few weeks ago, back in April, was enough to take the Premier League title race out of any realistic contention. So Liverpool win, look for early goals, look for not conceding. I can see plus 2.5 for Liverpool. It's a -2 handicap, depending on how you like to do that. And Liverpool scoring both halves as well. All scenarios of Liverpool win, but certainly Wolves do not score.
Lyle, Mane to score, Mili, Salah, farewell goal. Well, perhaps Salah is not even playing. If you go for Asian handicap -1 for Liverpool in the first half, you have odds 2.3. That's not bad at all. So if there is a lead of 2-0 for Liverpool at halftime, you win your bet. And all Liverpool fans and even perhaps neutral fans are hoping Aston Villa will get points from Man City. Any options, any scenario that you can think of that Man City won't win the title here?
The only thing that is interesting here is thinking about 10 years ago when City hadn't won the league in ever. And it's been so long since they were champions, and we thought they would be, and they went to that game against Queen's Park Rangers, which has been pushed heavily this week. 10-year anniversary, Aguero's trophy, statue and all that. And, of course, they fell behind to Queen's Park Rangers. They put everybody through the ringer in that result before Aguero's famous winner. That was 3-2. 3-2 here is 34-1. I mean, I can see it being dramatic as football sometimes gives us stuff. Man City tend not to, but of course the Real Madrid game in terms of entertainment and drama, that's certainly delivered. The Premier League less so, but you can get Coutinho to score at 10-1 and Man City win 3-2 at 34-1. I'm not saying I'm putting those on, but I'm saying they are quite enticing, exciting bets. In reality, I think this Villa team that they've got better last few weeks are no match for Man City. No one's a match for Man City. There's a reason they're nearly 1-1 to win the game. There's a reason there's almost no bet on here, because with nothing else to play for, City have gone through the gears and started ramming teams. There's injury doubts defensively. West Ham, I thought, took advantage of that brilliantly last week with the ball over the top. If Ollie Watkins can have the dead-eyed finishing skill that Jared Bowen scored last week, there's every chance that Villa might score in this game. But I'd expect City to have 80% possession. I expect City to score in the first 5 minutes. I expect them to score in the last 5 minutes and to win maybe even 4 or 5-0. Big win for Man City. 3-2 is funny, but not for my money.
Yeah, with the logic, Kushal is telling us City will win 4-0, as you are saying. I guess we all expect this kind of result. You are usually very good with Man City exact score against Wolves or against Newcastle. So perhaps, Man City 4-0, 5-0, it will be fun for most of us if at least we see a thriller, no? And we arrive until the last 20 minutes with the game leveled at least. And after the title race, the last game is Norwich-Tottenham, also very important for Tottenham to go to the Champions League. We've won a lot of bets during this season because our main rule in this show is bet against Norwich. You were mostly right, Tom. So once again, I guess Tottenham to win big in Carrow Road could be an option.
This could be the first ever 10-0 in Premier League history. This could be despicable to watch because Norwich, God bless them, they did try this year. They did, but the quality just isn't there. They're nowhere near good enough to compete in this league. And when good teams have gone to Carrow Road and Norwich have felt any desire to try and be the home team, they've been thrashed. I mean, they were walloped by an exhausted, debilitated West Ham last time at Carrow Road, when I think any other opponent would have beaten the Hammers that day. It was the perfect opponent for the Hammers after an awful night in the Europa League semi-final. For Tottenham, it's all going their way. It's all going their way right now. Even without Romero, Davinson Sanchez came in the North London derby and did quite well. Going forward, Harry Kane is scoring. Son wants the golden boot. We can't forget that narrative. You saw how annoyed he was when he came off against Arsenal because he thought he could have scored a few goals there to get above Mo Salah. I think there's one goal in it now still, 21-22. So Son will want the golden boot, and that will be one of the key narratives of the day. Tottenham win. Son scores a hat-trick, at least 5-0.
I was trying to get the exact odds for 10-0 for Tottenham, but I'm not
sure they'll give it anywhere. No one's going to have 10-0, I don't think.
Yeah, I am not sure even if in Oddspedia you can do it with our tool with correct score. But still, you can place your bets, of course, on going Asian handicap big for, let's see, we have the tool.
You can get 8-0.
We arrive. Yeah, we have it. 251.
Do it.
200, that's a lot, eh? Put 10 euros then, you have 2,500 euros.
8-0 is 150.
Not bad as well.
You
have your options. You have your options.
I mean, this is how mad.
9-0 is even 400.
6-0 is 34s. That's ludicrous. Like, that's normally for like 2-1 and someone scores. That's 6-0. I mean, I'm doing it. And if it comes in, if they win 10-0, I'll be on a beach in Hawaii before the Champions League final.
All right. That's a good plan. Okay. I love this tool, by the way. You can spend the whole day playing around with the odds and hope to be right and get a lot of money, of course. But it's difficult to bet on exact score. Tom, this is it. Wow, long journey the whole year talking about English football. It's been a pleasure. It's been nice. So many good bets. Some of them didn't go through, but this is life, of course. People complain, but unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. But let's try your last ACCA for this year.
So I have gone for a treble. One of them is quite risky because West Ham never beat Brighton, but I'm putting them in. Tottenham win against Norwich, obviously. Newcastle win against Burnley, and West Ham win at Brighton. If you put West Ham in, that is a risk, and I'm warning you now. But if they do it, it brings you around 11.5. Now that is a real tasty final day bet.
All right. Santa is asking you if you will come back for next season. Tom, what do you think?
For quadruple the money, I'll mull it over. It depends if they've won 10-0, doesn't it, really? If they've won 10-0, no. Otherwise, probably.
Well, there is good internet, I'm sure, in the beach in Hawaii with the palm trees and everything.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've won millions of pounds on a football bet, but I'm going to do this. What are you on about? Going to be on the beach tanning this wonderful dome. You might enjoy spending some time with me. Why not? You can come with me. We can record it on the beach on my phone. That sounds good. Fair enough. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, everyone, for watching the Premier League with us. Stay, of course, tell your friends that Oddspedia exists, that we have Premier League videos every single week. So we will grow bigger and we will be here, hopefully. Bye-bye. Thank you.